Hello. Thank you. Thank you for joining us at Dementia Diaries. My name is Janet Williams and I am your host. This program was started because my mother, she transitioned from this earth with vascular dementia. And one of my hopes and my goals was to educate and equip other caregivers with support and resources that they can use to do what they need to do as they care for their loved ones. But I have a good show for you tonight. I have a very special guest, and her name is Danielle Carrington, and she will be coming on screen now. Hello, Danielle.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining the podcast tonight. I am very excited for you to be here and to share some of the experiences and challenges that you've come across as a caregiver. So tell us about yourself. You're welcome. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I have 18 years in experience of being a caregiver. I have been a CNAs, I have been a PCA. I'm also a nationally registered EMT.
Okay.
Um, I like the health field. I love the health field. I'm a mother of three kids. I have three beautiful kids that I work hard for. Um, but I have a passion of caring for folks. Even on my off time, I'm caring for somebody. I'm doing something for
Okay.
somebody.
So tell me, let's talk about you and caring for others. What gives you that passion? What gives you the drive to care for others?
Um, I've always had that passion. That's a passion I've had since I was young. I started out helping others. I was a foster kid. I was
Okay.
adopted into a family, so I didn't have nobody to help me when I needed help the most. So I knew
Mhm.
that in life I wanted to help other folks.
That's
I
awesome.
walked strongly with God, and God always told me, as long as I take care of His people, He'll take care of me. So it's always worked out.
That's right.
That's
And that
right.
is true.
And that is
He will never leave
He
you
will
or
never
forsake.
leave you or forsake. Never. Never.
So that's great.
Great.
So
So
as you
as
are
you
caring, with my
my
understanding,
understanding,
there is
there was
an
a
echo. I don't
an
know if you all can hear the echo or not,
echo,
but if you can't, please
but if
forgive
you
it
can't
out
forgive
there.
it, there,
But
but
caregiving for family
caregiving for
members
family members
and caregiving for loved ones,
and caregiving for
is
loved
there a
is there
difference
a
in your opinion?
difference in your
Did you hear me?
there's a major there's a major difference. There's a major
Explain.
difference. Explain. Um so caregiving for I'm gonna start out with my clients because I'm gonna start out with family because I started out with family. Caregiving for family is majorly different because you put more of you into it. You understand? You put more of your heart, more tears go into it, more emotion go into the care. You know, sometimes when you caring for loved ones, you don't get the break that you get when you caring for a client or when you caring for somebody on a job. Um, when you caring for a loved one, the way you care for them is different than what you can do for a client or what's in your scope of practice because the legalities are different. Because it's my granddaddy, I can check his sugar, even though I don't
Hmm.
have a license. That's my grandfather, he allows it. You as a client, I can't check your sugar because it's out of my scope of practice.
Okay.
So it's a
Okay.
lot of difference between a client and a family member. Now, me on the other hand, um, I think every boss that I've had get on me for the same reason. I have a hard time differentiating between clients and family because I want you to understand that I'm gonna come in and treat your family like they might be my family.
Mhm.
So I go above and beyond for my clients. Some people think I am caring for family members because of the things that I do. Um, and it's just the passion that I have in it. And in order to be a caregiver, period, it all starts with passion.
Mhm.
So you gotta have some passion.
So let's talk about your grandfather. What type of dementia did he have?
My grandfather had alcoholism, dementia. He had frontal lobe dementia. He had dementia that was aggressive.
Mhm.
First of all, let me say this. For those that don't know, my grandfather mean the world to me. My grandfather is who made sure I didn't go into the foster system. I've always been with him. I've been with him since I was 18 months old. I don't care if he was working on a car or whatever, I was always right there with my grandfather. So my grandfather was like my father. Like my
Mhm.
grandfather was my everything. My grandfather had a dementia that was so aggressive. I have never seen in 18 years dementia eat nobody like that.
And explain
And
when aggressive. What does that?
so I moved in with my mom in March. My mom, I actually was going through a separation at the time, and so I moved in March. And maybe 2 weeks after being here, no, let me back up some. Before I moved in March, in January, my grandfather called my dad and was like, and every story I tell, I have gotten permission to. Everybody knows the stories I'm going to tell. My grandfather called my dad in Greensboro and told my dad that somebody was over at the shop and they were stealing parts off the car, and he was trying to make them leave and they wouldn't leave. And so my dad, because he was in Greensboro, called my uncle and myself to get us to go over to the shop. When my uncle gets over there, there's nobody there.
Mhm.
There's nobody been there, nobody there. So that was like a little weirdness. So after that happened, I went through a separation and I ended up moving back in with my parents, and which is my granddad and my mom. Um, when I moved in and first moved in, my granddad would have arguments with my mom that would be like real harsh words, and I'd be like, my granddad don't talk like that. I don't know where he getting that from.
Mhm.
So it was like he became this mean person. Like I don't even know how to describe it. He was so mean at first.
Mhm.
Maybe 2 weeks into my separation of being here, my mom got a call at 1:30 in the morning, maybe, and the police was calling her, and they told her that she needed to come down Riverside to get my granddad because he had drove down the wrong side of the highway, head onto a cop, almost hit a cop head on, and she had to come get the keys. When that happened, my mom had his keys taken.
Mhm.
From there, that was the start of us knowing that it was a little bit of dementia. That's when he started going to doctors. Um, my grandfather had COVID when COVID was out, and it took him down a little bit.
Mhm.
That played a major factor, and so he lost a lot. He started to lose a lot of weight. He one day, my mom said she was in the bed and she was asleep. He got up to go to the bathroom. For some reason, she moved the pillow. He got knives on the pillow, and
Mhm.
she's sleeping beside him and didn't even know it.
Mhm.
So that was like, okay, that's a little worse. So when I knew that my grandfather was out of it, me and my boys was down here in the bed one night sleep, and I'm a hard sleeper sometimes because I'm a caregiver. And my oldest son, woke me up and said, "Mom, Papa in the bed with us." What? And I set up, y'all. And my grandfather had actually took his clothes off and got into the bed with us and was telling us to move over, was calling us his brothers and sisters now.
Okay.
So it just progressed on. By mid-May, June, he didn't know who we were.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, he
She has frozen, so please be patient with us. Okay.
I do apologize about that.
That's okay. So tell me, as you and your family were seeing the changes in your grandfather, how did this impact?
What's going on with Xfinity today?
Okay, I got you back.
I don't know why
It's okay. So until Danielle is able to come back, Danielle was telling us about her grandfather Moses, who had dementia. I believe she said he had frontal lobe dementia. And some of the things he was doing was he had a lot of aggression. And in this aggression, it was like he became violent. He had knives under the pillows. He got into bed with Danielle and her kids, thinking that they were his brothers and sisters. So his mind had basically gone back to a different time earlier in his life. So that is some of the things that she was experiencing with him. Now, when she comes back, one of the things I'm going to ask her is, how did finding out about his dementia impact her and the family? What things did they have to change? And how are they responding to his erratic behavior? So that's like very important. I can say my mother, when she had dementia, she had vascular dementia. Now, she was not aggressive all the time, but there were times when she became aggressive. And, if you came close to her, you might get hit a little bit or get her nail stuck in your hand or something. But it really wasn't to the extent of how Danielle was describing her grandfather. So I am going to assume, because I am not a doctor, I just go by the experiences that I have had as a caregiver. So some of these situations, some of these behaviors, you have to learn how to deal with how the individual behaves. So as that comes about, you just can't stop. You have to think, okay, so this individual, this loved one of mine, I love this person so much, but their behavior is so aggressive, you don't know what to do. So as a caregiver, you have to learn how to work through those situations and understand that this is the person that you love, but the behavior is not the behavior that you are accustomed to. So, you have to monitor, when does this stuff happen? Does it happen at night? Does it happen at a certain time? Does it happen after they've come off of medication? When does it happen? Those are things as a caregiver you have to kind of pinpoint. And as you do that, you will learn how to work around that behavior. So, Danielle, can you hear me? I see you're back. Okay, she still can't hear me. And that's okay. And so, one of the other things we're going to discuss with her, or we can discuss with the audience, because you can feel free to type in a question in the chat, is taking care of loved ones and taking care of patients different. When Danielle was speaking, she said, yes, there is a difference because you put more of your heart. Your heart is in the um, loved ones because that is the member of your family. You really truly have love for this individual. But when it comes to patients and people that are not your family members, it's like, do you have that love, as a caregiver, or is it just a job? And she was
Yep.
telling us that she is very compassionate and she loves being a caregiver and she loves taking care of people. And one of the things that she does as a caregiver is she treats them like they are her family. And I applaud that. And I believe that is very important when you're taking care of anyone. You have to have a passion. You want to make sure that they're
This is
okay.
where the piss me the fuck off.
That's
Lord to God.
where it's okay. So one of the things that we have to do is to check that if you are not only a loved one that goes as a caregiver that takes care of others, you need to make sure that you're treating the patients right as well. Behaviors are going to be different. There's going to be aggression. There's going to be times when they don't know who you are. They may be afraid of you, but you have to talk to them calmly. You know, don't fight against them. Don't say, you know who I am. Don't say, do you remember? You calmly, gently talk them through it, and then things will come out differently. So that is part of being a caregiver. Is there time? Your time is going to be very important as a caregiver because especially if you are the only caregiver, you may find that the things that you used to do, you're not able to do those things anymore. And as you do those things or don't do those things, you're going to get frustrated. But how do you handle that frustration? How do you go about taking care of this person? And at times there may be some resentment because you can't do anything because of this individual. Those are things that you think about as you become caregivers. And how do you respond to those things? So, one of the things that I think that we can do is just you have to breathe, you have to pray, you have to know what it is that you're getting into. If you have others that can help you, then you need to offer for them to come and help you out because you will get burnt out. So you're going to have to pace yourself and you're going to have to do what you can do to make sure that you are taken care of. Now I'm going to try to bring Danielle back on to see if she is able to hear me now. Are you able to hear me now, Danielle?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So we were talking about your grandfather. Now tell me when you all found out that he had dementia and his behavior was becoming aggressive and being aggressive, how did you handle that?
At first I stayed away. I didn't know how to handle it. Being my grandfather, I stayed away. So I stayed away from the house a lot at first. Just so because he was more aggressive to me
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. I don't know why, but he was very aggressive towards me. He always thought that I was the one that was taking his car.
Yeah. Okay.
Because my granddaddy had a car collection that was lovely.
Okay, I think she has gone out again. So I see a comment here where it says, I will say I had the pleasure of, are you there?
I just decided to pray about it and ask God to give understanding of why he was going through it, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand that he had to go through it. But the sad part, I have to say honestly, is by the time that I understood it, he was right at the end.
Okay.
Because I was in denial. I went through denial a long time. Like, I can't believe I'm losing my granddad. Like, I think it was like 6.5 months and he was gone.
Okay. Okay.
He was gone.
Now,
He got to call his wife Mama.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and you said he had frontal lobe dementia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's why it was aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about your patient.
Oh, I've sat with all kinds of dementia patients. My boss tells me all the time, I don't know how you go back to the job sometimes. I've had insure pulled on my head. I've been beat up by clients. I've had a wig snatched off my head by clients. Yeah, I've been locked in the house by a client with dementia. Yeah, I've been through with the dementia patient.
Now, these patients, are they, I mean, do you take care of them at their home, or do you take care of them like at a nursing memory?
I've always worked in the home.
Okay.
I always work in the home. Always work in the home. I think the love, the appreciation, and all that is more deeper and personal in the home than versus going to a nursing home and you have 15 patients that you got to show the same care at one time. That one-on-one time, it's a difference, even if it's nothing but companionship. For the first couple of years of my career, I have worked nothing but difficult clients. I've had the crying dementia patients. I've had the difficult dementia patients. I've had patients that, like I say, poured her whole issue on me. Now, the thing about dementia is most dementia patients will show out during the nighttime because most of them have sundown. During the daytime, you are able to control them more.
So explain
at nighttime.
Explain what sundowners is for the audience.
When the sun go down, it's time to go in the house. Because when sundown time happens, they don't sleep. They are up from whatever time their sundown starts to whatever time their sundown ends. So, like my grandfather, at 8:30 every night starting, he would start to talk about his brothers, his sisters. Every night. We knew that was the start. And he would walk the floor all night until about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Then he would calm down and let in. I have some clients that might start at 5 o'clock in the evening and go all the way to the next day at 5 o'clock.
Now, for some of these patients, did they take medication? Did the medication help at all?
Sometimes it do, and sometimes it don't. It depends on in what stage you catch the dementia and the type of dementia. Because if it's aggressive, I don't care what you give it. Nothing worked for my granddaddy. Nothing.
And as a caregiver, what are some of the things you do to take care of yourself, for your mental health, for your well-being? What do you do?
I would be lying to you to say that I do. I haven't been on vacation in probably 5 years. I'm that caregiver that's at that. I could probably say I'm about burnt out, but because of the passion, it keeps me going.
Okay.
I work 2 clients now. I do. I work 2 clients. I'm sun up, sun down. I'm with a client and with my kids in between. But to know that the joy they get off, like, it's not a client that I haven't been with that won't be like, I want Danielle back. Can I get Danielle back? Like the joy that they get from me being who I am to them. Like if it's nothing but companionship, if it's nothing but talking about the stories, if it's nothing but going to the grocery store, you know, um, it's a lot. It means a lot.
What would you say is one or was one of the hardest challenges that you faced as a caregiver? I know you said your grandfather was, got into bed with you thinking that you all were his sisters and brothers. But what have you come across that really like just took you for a loop? What is going on here? What's happening? What do I need to do?
Um, I think for I don't know why God always brings me to the cases that need to be reported,
Mm-hmm.
the cases that need extra care. So I had one client, patient. I walked in the apartment and it was just a walkway, like just a walkway because it was so much stuff in the
Mm-hmm.
house. It was just a walkway from the front door into the kitchen, into where the client was, into the bathroom. The kitchen was piled up with stuff everywhere, roaches everywhere, bugs everywhere. Um, the bathroom was disgusting with chucks that's browner than brown, and chucks are supposed to be white.
Mm-hmm.
The client was bedridden, and she was laying on urine, bowel, and everything else you want to think of, roaches all around her. And to think of this client, when I found out who this client belonged to, blew my mind that this was a doctor's sister.
Mm-hmm.
You a doctor and you allow your sister to lay like this? It blew my mind. So when times come like that, that's when I get this like, because I will report you. I don't mind reporting you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no problem reporting nobody when it comes to stuff like that.
Do you find
No.
do you find that there are a lot of family members that just don't take care of their loved ones when they have dementia?
The hardest part of my job is the family.
Hmm.
The hardest part of my job is the family. The family doesn't have either one of some, it's usually one or two ways. You have a family that has a great caregiver and will burn them out and never realize that you're burning them out. Because once they see how great you are, they will step back
Mm.
and never come back and play that role. Or you have that care to have to take care of a family, a patient, and you'll never see a family until they close their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Then everybody come up the woodworks. But there's been times where I've sat at the hospital for days with patients like they were my family,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm no king. I just recently lost my. I've had three. I've had. I hate to say it as a caregiver, but I've had three favorites, and all three of my favorites I passed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of my favorites was a guy that I was taking care of, and he became almost like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw a family member but his wife.
Mm-hmm.
But they were separated, but she would still take care of him. This man, anything he needed done, every groceries, anything, I done.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance, talking to healthcare people, paying bills, I done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when he passed away, everybody came out the woodworks. He had all kinds of family,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and nobody knew who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody recognized me. So let me tell you, as a caregiver, when we put hours in with your family member, when we put sweat, tears, and time in with your family member, when we're running around with the family member that you love so much and they close their eyes, it hurt us just like it hurt you. So we deserve a little appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, you should remember that, okay, y'all, this was a caregiver. Danielle did a great job caring for John, and John, was our uncle, so we're going to recognize her too. Families don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They will bury John and never even tell Sally up here, the sister, that he got a caregiver. And she was doing everything and did good care for him. They never recognize who should be recognized. That's why a lot of people walk away.
Mm-hmm.
We are not, I tell everybody, I don't do this for the money, because this is one underpaid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very underpaid, whether it's under the table, on the table, however you want to see it. We are underpaid because we do everything that don't nobody else want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are underpaid for a certain reason, because the caregivers that we have nowadays coming out, most of them, hate to say it, it's for the check.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this.
It's for the
What joy have you found in caregiving? Because I know there are certain times, either whether it's your loved one, maybe even a client, when this person that has dementia will do something or say something that is so funny. It's like, I can't believe she just said that. Like my mom, when she had dementia, I had never heard my mother use profanity in her life, ever. No one could ever tell me that this woman used to curse. I went down there with her one day, and I mean, she was cussing, and I said, "Oop." I said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And she looked at me like, "Who are you talking to? Like, who are you?" Now tell me some of the things that you've come across that just brings you joy and relieves some of that pain as you're caring for people.
Well, when it comes to my granddad, I always keep the same memory that makes me smile about him. One day I was watching him for my mom, and I went to the bathroom and came out, and my granddad had got dressed, but everything that he had got dressed in belonged to my mama. He had on my mama's pants and my mama's shirt and her sock. Look, I said, Papa, you got to take it off. No, you don't. No, I don't. I'm ready to go out here and pay this man. I said, you can't go outside with them little pants on like that. Well, you don't like my pants, don't worry about it.
It's nothing to do.
But with other folks, it's joy. You have to find a smile in the heart of son, because he will allow me to take my hardest days and go to work, and it'll be the best day at work. Just to turn my hardest day around that was in the street. I can't even say how much when I was homeless and still going to work, my clients dug in and helped out.
It's all right. It's all right. This is it's all right. These are the things. These are
those were some of the hardest days. Those were some of the hardest days.
But you pressed through. You pressed through. And as we said at the beginning, God was there with you. So
that was the hardest, but I love what I do.
Now, tell me.
And I remember that somebody got to do it for me one day.
Yes.
I got to get old one day. I want somebody to treat me right. I don't want to be putting a nurse on me just not taking care of me. I want the same treatment that I gave somebody else.
And and when I took care of my mom, I used to think, this woman, she took care of me when I was a baby. It's really no different. When they in the state, it's really no difference, because you're doing everything that you would do for a baby, for a child. You feed them.
That's it.
You wash them, you change them, you do all of that. You play with them, all of that. So she did this for me. I can do this for her.
That's how I think of it.
Now, before we get ready to go, I want to ask you. Now, you have your own business, or do you work for?
I do private care.
You do private care, and where's private
Yeah.
care at?
I do private care in Danville and surrounding cities. Right now, I'm working in the county.
And is that Danville, Virginia?
Yes, ma'am, Danville, Virginia.
Okay.
Everybody knows me on Facebook, Danielle Carrington. Look me up. I have 18 years of experience. I have seen everything from wounds, holes, to feeding tubes, to NG tubes, to the colostomy bags, Alzheimer's. And now there's a difference between dementia and traumatic brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with that too, so I have that level too.
Now,
I'm also EMS worker.
Do you only care for dementia patients, or do you care for other types of patients as well, other than the brain?
I care for all patients.
Okay.
All patients.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Anyone that needs a caregiver.
I've worked with handicapped, elderly, young.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've worked with them. I still do. I think my hardest case that I've had besides my grandfather was my hardest case probably was my homie, Big Mama. We call her Big Mama. Because I was close to her kids. So when they called me to take care of their mama, it was like, this means something to me. I got to make sure I take good care of their mama. And I always looked up to her because I was going through a depression when I met her. She helped me through a depression I was going through. Mm-hmm. And to see her go through like she went through and fight as hard as she fought, that was a hard one for me. That was a hard one. But I've been okay. I think the hardest thing I've ever had to face was on EMS. EMS has been my hardest. But other than that, I love healthcare.
Okay.
I love taking care of people. I will always take care of your family like they're my family.
And other than Facebook, how can someone reach you?
You can reach out to me via Instagram. My Instagram is Danielle Carrington. You can reach out to me via TikTok. I am blessed and highly favored on TikTok. And you also can reach me at mobile number 434-441-8657. I work 7 days a week. I don't discriminate.
Well, thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you sharing, your experience.
I apologize about the technical difficulties.
And your patience. And, I know caregiving is a hard job. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, it is hard. It is very draining, but it can.
You got to stay prayed up.
That's it. You got to
stay prayed up.
So,
when people don't realize, like, being a caregiver, I say stay prayed up because you might be connected to God closely, but going into different houses, you pick up different spirits, and you'll start questioning, like, God, wait a minute, where I get this thought from? Wait a minute, how I get like this, or why I'm so down like this. But it's because you went in that spirit. So as you go into your client's home every day, you should make sure you pray. Like, I pray with my new clients. When I get a new client, I go in there and I pray. Like, no, I pray. Anybody that work with me know that. I pray in their house, and I'm sorry if you don't like it, I apologize. But because I can't take them spirits out.
Yep, that's true. So, all right. Well, Danielle, we're going to take you off and put you in the back office for a moment. Don't hang up. I'm going to come back and talk to you for a moment. But thank you so much again for joining us. And I thank everyone else for joining us tonight. We will be back on June 25th with another story. We're going to hear from Katina, and we're going to hear from Sherry as they talk about their mother who has Alzheimer's, or should I say dementia, and hear what it is that they're experiencing, their challenges, their joys. What is it that they can tell you that may make what you're doing, the person you're caring for, better, that relationship better. And then also what you can do for yourself. How can you keep yourself from being burnt out? How can you keep yourself from being drained? You know, all of those things are what we're looking for on this show. And this is what we are trying to tell everyone, that you can make it. You can make it. You can make it. Times are going to get hard. You might get stressed out. You might get frustrated. And you may cry out, fall down on your knees, but you can make it. And you're not alone. There are so many people that I've found on Facebook and other areas that are caregivers for people with dementia. Reach out. Talk to us. If you want to reach out to me, talk to me. You can feel free to reach out to me on Facebook at Dementia Diaries, a caregiver's journey, or you can reach out to me at DementiaDiariesPodcast@gmail.com. We are here ready to help and help you with your questions. Thank you. Have a good night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. God bless.